taping this on here temporarily so I can get all the pieces cut properly. Alright, so I've got this all laid out the way I want it, and I've kind of marked it to where I can remember the way it goes. So now I'm just going to clean it, and I can go ahead and start glassing this in. Alright, I got it all on there, and it turned out good, I think. Definitely gonna have plenty of sanding to do. I couldn't really get any peel ply in this area, so I'll just have to sand that out. But I tried to get peel ply pretty much everywhere else. Just threw it on there. So I'm having some issues with broken off screws, like this one here. And also, some of them have broken off down inside the hole. And I've tried a bunch of different ways to get them out. I've tried using just ease outs, but they seem to just strip out the bronze instead of extracting it. I mean, I've pretty much got all of them. There's just a few stubborn ones. So I picked up some of these. These are called unscrew-ems. And so these actually expand onto the screw and eventually get tight enough to where it starts to back the screw out. This one I just did, and you see it drilled down the top enough to where it finally bit into it, and then it just backed it right out. So we'll see if I can get the rest of them out. So it takes a while, but it works. You can see it just expands over the screw and then binds it, and then it just pulls it out. So works pretty good. There we go. So the majority of the screws I've just been able to get out, just drilling the bung out and then cleaning out the slot, and then usually they will unscrew. So we came up to our parents' lake house for the weekend. So I found this cool little boat. We've been looking for one up here for our lake house, and I just happened upon this one, and the guy was selling it for a pretty good price, I think. It's called a Victoria 18, and it's a perfect little boat for cruising around at the lake up here. So we're just trying to get it cleaned up. It's a little bit dirty. The gel coat could use some buffing. And I mean, it's going to need a little bit of work, but it'll just be a good little lake boat project whenever we're up here on the weekends or whatever. But I'm trying to get it rigged up to take it out today, and I think we'll be able to. Just need to scrub it. Cockpit's pretty dirty, but everything seems to be in good condition structurally. Came with a little outboard that mounts here. Got a little tiny cabin. So yeah, let's see if we can get it in the water. So here are the bolts that are going to be holding down the tow rail. I actually found these at West Marine online. They had them for like 70% off or something. So they ended up being like 90 cents a piece. And the only other place I could find these, they were like over $2 a piece. So got a pretty good deal from West Marine, surprisingly. But yeah, I have everything I need to reinstall the tow rail now, so I just need to get busy sanding and scraping and cleaning. Alright, so I've got these tow rails scraped all the black stuff off of them for the most part, and I'm gluing in some little pieces that I broke out whenever I was trying to remove it. Another one here. So I'll let that cure and then I'll come back and start sanding these down some. Alright, so I'm done scraping all this old bedding compound off the deck, and it's really the only way to remove it that I've found. So scrape it and then I'll come back and sand, and then it won't gum up the pads as bad. So before I put the tow rail back on, I want to add some more strength to the underside of the deck. If you can see, I'm going to step in that spot where the camera's shooting, up here. So yeah, while these bolts are out of the way, I'm going to put some glass under there and see if I can add some strength back into the deck. I think that's mainly due to the teak decks being removed, and I really should have put down glass on top of the deck, but I've already painted it, so I don't feel like sanding all that back off. So I think the best thing to do is to add some glass underneath here and try to strengthen it up a little bit. So I'm gonna sand under here and get it cleaned and try to get some glass laid up. Same thing on this side. This side seems to be a little bit sturdier, but I'm gonna go ahead and lay it up anyways. Really love this mask. That's what would have been on my face and in my eyes after sanding. So these are the pieces of the tow rail that go in the mount over the transom area in the back of the boat. So I dug out all of the bad wood, and it was just like dust almost, so it was easy to do, and brought it back to some good wood. And same thing with this one. This one is took out a little bit more. So right now I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to fill this in, and I think I'm going to just cut some small pieces of teak just to kind of help fill in some, so that there's not so much thickened epoxy. Because if I just fill this whole void with thickened epoxy, it's going to get too hot, and then it'll end up cracking. So I think this will make it a lot easier. The other option is to do it in multiple layers, like fill in a little bit, let that cure, fill in a little bit more. But I don't really want to do that. I think this will be stronger anyway, so I'm just going to cut a few more little pieces to fit in, just to kind of take up some more space. Then we'll fill the rest with thickened epoxy. Alright, so I got the epoxy in there. Hopefully it's not too thick where it cracks on me. I'm using the slow hardener, and it's pretty cool today, so hopefully it won't get hot too fast. But yeah, I think all I have to do is sand this down and then maybe come back over it with some fairing compound if there's just any weird spots, and should be good to go after that.
Move that front.
I think we're back kind of on track now. What's your honest side?
Well,
What's that?
ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is cured now. We're just gonna step on it, kind of do a comparison of how it was before. Yeah. So, I mean, definitely still a little bit of flexing, but there's just not a lot of structure here, so I think it's not a big deal. Alright guys, well that's going to be it for this video. Just wanted to give a big thank you to all of our patrons. And if you enjoyed the video, please leave us a like, it really helps us out. Consider subscribing if you're not already. So, we'll see you next week. Thanks for watching. Keep going.